The SFT, or Surf Foil World Tour, is the new kid on the block. It brings together the exploding world of competitive, non-wind powered foiling on water. Few places are more idyllic for foiling than the island of Mauritius, and it's here that Jürgen Voigt, founder of the SFT, explains the goals and roles of the Global Foil Sports Association.
My name is Jürgen Voigt. I'm the CEO and founder of the SFT Surf Foil World Tour. Foiling is a way of moving above the water by the energy of the water. The fascinating part at foiling is it works pretty much the same like an aeroplane. An aeroplane is lifting and flying because of the shape of the wings. Foiling is actually the same procedure, the same principle in water. And you have this wing underwater which generates lift, and that is what we can see here. That is a foil. The rider is flying above the water, either powered by the energy of the ocean, which can be pushed by the waves, or with his muscles by moving the foil in the way that it stays above the water. Or by an engine like a foil assist or an e-foil.
To bring all of these disciplines under one competitive umbrella, a world tour was created. But how did it all start?
The SFT Surf Foil World Tour is a very young world tour. It was founded in December 24. And runs now 5 disciplines in so-called non-wind powered foil disciplines. And that is very unique. It's a very new sport and very attractive to those ones who like to go on the water, having fun and surfing in all kinds of conditions. I had the idea about the SFT World Tour already a couple of years ago because I do most of the disciplines myself, and my favorite discipline is surf foiling. I'm working in the field of water sport competition for decades, and I got asked by more and more riders, we like to compete worldwide, what can we do? And I said, yeah, I do have the infrastructure, why not creating a new world tour? That was in 2019. And then I got a call from the boat show, the biggest one in the world in Düsseldorf. And they asked me whether I have an idea what kind of competition they can run in their big pool indoor. And I said, yeah, let's go for pump foiling. There are a lot of very new athletes coming from completely different backgrounds. And I think that could be very exciting to show something new on an exhibition like the boat show in Düsseldorf. So we did it, and it was such a success that straight after the final, I received calls from so many different places. They were asking if we like to run a World Cup there. So straight after Boot Düsseldorf, we managed to run our first World Cup event in the USA, in Florida, Pensacola. And that was the next step, and we got invitations from other places in the USA, like Atlanta. And so it continued throughout the year. We were then in Cabo Verde, Sal, where we were running the first Surf Foil World Cup. And that was amazing. We had big waves. We were running a downwind competition then at Italy, Lake Garda. We went to Austria on a lake with pump foil, and also very well established World Cup events like the one in France, Le Cut, which is, I think, run since Robbie Nash's time. We were asked to run our e-foil competition. And after 10 events, the final took place in Abu Dhabi, and that's why we were very optimistic, and we are very optimistic that it continues in a very positive way for everyone who's in this sport.
The SFT World Cup in Abu Dhabi was tailor-made for the Gulf. Enthusiastic spectators turned out to watch the finale of the e-foil season. Alongside the spectacular wake foil competition. It was a breathtaking competition in the Emirates and a fitting climax to the e-foil race season. While the SFT has been steadily building momentum, the GFA, or Global Foil Board Sports Association, has been growing as well.
The GFA is a Global Foil Board Sports Association. Firstly, it has nothing to do with the SFT. The GFA is an international federation ruling the non-wind powered foil sports. It's taking care of all kinds of topics like, as I said, ruling the sport as such, but also in implementing standardizations to make the sport safe, taking care of environmental matters, industry matters, representing the foil sport community, the industry, to international federations like the IOC or national federations. And we have a contract with the GFA giving us the exclusive rights of crowning the official world champions in these non-wind powered foil disciplines, which is very important that you know that you have one world champion. It needs to be regulated, and that is done by the GFA. The SFT Surffoil World Tour runs 5 disciplines. The one discipline, according to the name, is surffoiling. Surffoiling is the usage of the foil generating lift through the power and the energy of the waves. And in this discipline, it's the same like surfing, where you surf the wave. We are also surfing the wave, but we are not only using the height of the wave and the angle, how steep the wave is, but we also use the power and the energy of the wave. The discipline is about performance, how riding the waves, what you do in surfing as well.
But foils are highly versatile and can be matched to a wide range of conditions. Bobo Gallagher explains the intricacies.
For the foils, you can really switch out anything: fuselage, the length of this, the size of your mast, size of your stabilizer, or your front wing. It just changes the speed that you can go at, or how maneuverable the foil is, and lift, how much lift you can get and how much you can be able to pump. And so, yeah, you can just change all kinds of stuff to like maximize your performance in any kind of conditions.
The second discipline is downwind foiling, which is a little bit like surf foiling, but downwind you need mostly wind bumps. So these tiny little waves, what you do have on the lake, what you do have on smaller seas like Baltic Sea or North Sea, but you can obviously run it everywhere, where you just connect these little swell bumps and going from a starting line to a finishing line. And that's the difference between surfing. Surfing is a performance discipline where judges judge your riding skills, and downwind is starting line, finishing line. Who crosses the finishing line first is the winner. The third discipline is pump foiling, which is very, very attractive in a lot of cities, landlocked countries like Switzerland, Austria, also southern Germany, Berlin, but also in some cities in North America, and very popular also in Asia, where you do not have wind and waves, and you generate lift by muscle power, pumping the foil through the water, and that is a high athletic wind. It's like a slalom course. There are mostly two riders competing against each other, starting from a starting line, and then who crosses the finishing line first is the winner. It's a high athletic and very technical, difficult discipline. The next one is very popular, especially in the USA. It's wake foiling. It's pretty much like wakeboarding behind the boat, and you do all kinds of freestyle tricks, loops, rotations, handle passes, but instead of using a wakeboard, you use a foil board, and that is very attractive discipline also for the spectators, because you can be super close to the competition and what's happening on the course. And last but not least, it's e-foiling. E-foiling is, from my perspective, the foiling sport which gives the easiest access to foiling.
So an e-foil is basically a flying electric surfboard, and e-foil racing is quite new, but it's super exciting to bring the sport of an e-foil, because before it's maybe been considered a bit more as a yacht toy, but now people have really seen it's becoming a sport. And e-foil racing is basically a course that you put out, and you're gonna go as fast as possible around the course. So it's very technical, it's high speeds, you feel it in your legs. So no, it's super fun that this is really becoming a sport in the industry.
When I first got started into e-foiling, I knew immediately that we were going to be racing these things. I started off with a big 100-liter slow e-foil, and as soon as I started, I just mentally, I was like, we are going to be racing these things. So since day one of being on an e-foil, I've been training to race, pushing the limits on the board, and now we're here. We're at the SFT at our final stop, and yeah, people are into it. We got 26 racers that are stoked on racing.
E-foil racing is one of the fastest growing disciplines on the tour. Abu Dhabi proved a big hit with the athletes and the fans. At the speeds the riders achieve, even on the tight courses, it's not without its risks. Helmets are mandatory and a necessary precaution. Abu Dhabi crowned the new world champion, the US's Justin Chait. He is passionate about the sport's possibilities.
I've been doing board sports, kiteboarding, wakeboarding my whole life, and when I got into e-foiling, it re-sparked my passion for water sports. I'm 36 years old, and wasn't doing what I used to do back in the day, so now e-foiling is my passion. I ride every day, I teach people every day, and I think from teaching people, that kind of helps me with my technique, and I just love going fast.
E-foil racing is booming across the world, and there are growing numbers of women joining the fray. Abu Dhabi gave them a perfect platform, and it was Agnes Vikander from Sweden who took the crown in Abu Dhabi after her season-long domination.
This is the beginning of the sport. I'm sure the level is just gonna get higher and higher. I'm so happy there's so many girls here. This is a sport for everyone. You can go from beginner to pro, which I'm super happy with.
The SFT has already shown that it is a melting pot for cultures from around the world, and that only seems set to grow.
The athletes of the SFT World Tour are coming from all over the world. And most fascinating for me is it's a completely different type of athletes. Yes, we do have the surfers doing surf foiling, all the heroes coming from Hawaii, coming from Australia, New Zealand, Mauritius, and all these fascinating wave spots. But we also do have new athletes who were never connected to the water sport as such, especially to surfing, because now this sport, as a weather independent sport, allows to practice this sport everywhere where you do have water. It can be in the middle of the city, like the River Spree in Berlin, or the Grachten in Amsterdam, or some lake somewhere in Atlanta. So we have new people who do this sport, and that's why the athletes are really coming from all over the world with all kind of backgrounds, and it is a very accessible sport. If you're a little bit sporty, then you can do all these disciplines after a short time of practicing. So that's why athletes, as I said, coming from all places, and they are hardly professionals. Most of them are amateurs. You cannot make your livelihood yet out of the sport, but we have seen this at so many other sports. Wing foiling, the sister sport of the non-wind powered foiling disciplines. It's the same, but you use a kind of sail holding in the hands, going with the wind, was coming out of nowhere. And within 2 years, we had professionals paid very well, all around the world. And it's one of the biggest water sports now on earth. It's just a matter of time until we have professional riders competing at the SFT World Tour.
Foiling on the water is diverse. In the non-racing disciplines like wake foiling, judges are needed to separate the athletes. Head judge Alvaro Onieva explains what he's looking for.
The judges are looking forward to see very high technical tricks. The degree of the difficulty of the maneuver, it counts toward the final score, but it's also how they perform the trick. It's about how they do it. So we need to have a good flow combination, good connection, good commitment and risk on the critical section of the wave. And of course they must show a very wide repertoire of maneuvers.
In the season finale in Abu Dhabi, the wake foilers were throwing down, doing their best to impress the judges and get the upper hand. Many of the athletes had 2 chances in the differing demands of the strapped or unstrapped divisions.
In sailing, in my opinion, foiling is one of the most attractive disciplines. It has a super bright future in all means. And when it comes to board sports, for sure. I mean, foiling on a surfboard has the beauty you can ride crab waves at spots where you never consider surfing, and all of a sudden you have the feeling of surfing. You can go to, as I said, to the Baltic Sea. You don't have barreling waves there or big waves, and you have the surf feeling. You can go out into the ocean, you go downwind, riding the bumps for kilometers, far away from each and everywhere. You have kids, 8, 9 years old. You have the athletes around the 20s, 30s, and you have even the retired people saying, yeah, that is something cool. I don't have to battle in the lineup with the locals. I can just go in the next bay and have the same fun by using a foil. And that's why I think more and more people will go into the foil sport, and that is what we can see also on the economy side or on the business side of the sport. It's growing very rapidly. And last but not least, I think as more people fell in love with the ocean, with the water, with the nature, as better it is for the nature, because that makes them understanding that we have to protect our playground. And yeah, so I'm very optimistic that foiling is finding more and more enthusiasts.
Many of the athletes from the wind-powered wing foil divisions took the opportunity to battle in the new foiling disciplines, and the newly crowned world champion Justin Chait knows why.
It doesn't rely on wind, it doesn't rely on surf. You can train every single day, you can run an event on time in any location, any condition. It also is accessible to everybody. It's got a very small learning curve, and you can practice. And even if there's pro level racing, beginners can come in at their level and challenge themselves and others. So it's a really unique sport in that aspect.
A grand opening in 2025 was the platform to build a bigger, more expansive SFT Surf Foil World Tour event lineup for 2026.
The World Tour calendar 2026 looks even better, but in the first year it's normal. For me, most fascinating and motivating is that we get new spots, new World Cup destinations on request, places so far water sport never took place. Asia, for instance, we will be in Shenzhen, that is next to Hong Kong. In May, we had a deal with Singapore. It's now postponed to 27, which gives a good outlook for next year. Da Nang, Vietnam, in the city as well. They combine it with the beach event, surf foiling close by. Then back in the USA, obviously Europe and many other places, Brazil, South America. So all the disciplines are covered by a very comprehensive World Tour calendar. Yeah, for me personally, one of the most exciting events will be Tahiti, where we run a surf foil World Cup and wake foil and pump foil and downwind foil as well. But surf foiling is obviously Tahiti. A lot of people know this from the Olympic surfing competition, which has one of the best waves on Earth, and that can be super exciting.
This is only the beginning. The future of foiling is bright, so keep your ear to the water and find out what the SFT has in store for the future.